Thief returns after stealing woman's car, yells at her for leaving 4-year-old son alone in vehicle. Imagine being lectured by a car thief. I'm not looking for a job, but I send out applications periodically, just so I can ask about the salary range and tell them it's too low, no matter what it is. Doing my part to get the rest of you paid. Since we are all talking about leaving Twitter again, can I bring back the idea of migrating to LinkedIn en masse and just totally destroying the professional vibe over there? Thinking about the homeless man in Austin who I used to pay $15 to watch my car while I went out, and one night I came back and all the cars around mine were broken into except mine, and he was sitting on my hood and said, "I ain't let him touch this one, Miss Kenzie." A bank robber named Pretty Boy Floyd was known for destroying mortgage papers on heists, freeing hundreds of people from property debt. French activist broke into the villa of Putin's daughter Catherine Tikhanova in Biarritz, France, changed the locks in the house, and invited refugees from #Ukraine. Okay, this is pretty funny. Texas passed a law requiring schools to display any "Donated in God We Trust" poster. They are breaking the law if someone donates a poster and they don't display it. So an activist is donating those posters but in Arabic. Raw video. Today, armed activists with the group Don't Comply held their annual Feed the Need event, where they gave homeless people food, winter clothes and blankets. A chime in Dallas. The group was armed to deter cops, with one young participant even open carrying swords. Be me. 22 and poor in college. Deliver food for a restaurant for a few months. Sometimes people order takeout, but don't pick it up. If it happens late enough in my shift, I get to take it home with me. Always ate the best those nights, since it was free. Be me now. 35 plus. Started calling corporate restaurants and ordering takeout about a half hour before close. Always spoof the caller ID to show up as my ex-wife. Been doing it for about 3 years. Never pick it up. Gives me a warm fuzzy feeling knowing I gave some young person a free meal, and also my ex gets bulk listed from every restaurant in town. French environmentalists targeted sites near Toulouse, calling golf the leisure industry of the most privileged. Climate activists fill golf holes with cement after water ban exemption. Co-worker said she would only accept an official Apple mouse, so I dug this out of storage and left it on her desk. A Florida activist is asking state school districts to ban the Bible, saying it's not an age-appropriate book for kids and contains references to rape, bestiality and infanticide. I bulked Fox News with parental controls at my parents' house, and now my mom keeps calling, asking why they can't watch their news program, and I truly believe this is how we can save our country. Road service employees are dismantling road signs across Ukraine in order to complicate navigation for the invading Russian troops. My neighbors are too low income to afford a Wi-Fi connection and too proud to use mine. So I renamed mine Free Council Wi-Fi and told them I had read about it and what the password was. My neighbor is now halfway through an online college qualification, and I'm so proud of her. Update. Republicans started recruiting plaintiffs for a lawsuit to stop student debt relief. Our response? 130,000 false applications were sent in less than a day. Good work everyone. Apparently my kid got in trouble today for packing our toaster in his backpack and pulling it out at lunch to make Pop-Tarts for his class. I can't stop laughing. My dad used to live in a really bad area growing up surrounded by a lot of gangs, and he told me that there was this kind, openly gay boy that used to tutor all these gang leaders for free. And one day a homophobe insulted him, and 5 gangs found out and went to go beat him up. 15 years ago, 5 friends and I drunkenly painted a crosswalk on a dangerous street in our college town. Shockingly, people actually used it, and the city installed a legitimate crosswalk there soon after. Now it's in a national publication. The case for gorilla crosswalks. What was your duck it, done helping others moment? One day I found a puppy, dirty, hungry, and just scared and lost. I gave him a good meal and some love and went to drop him off at the address on his collar. The dude thanked me, then proceeded to beat the crap out of the dog, telling me to mind my own business. When I tried to get him to stop, carried him by his collar to a 5 feet short chain in a muddy patch with a crappy broken 3-wall dog house, where I'm guessing the dogs spend 100% of its time. I called the cops, but they did nothing. The dog technically had shelter, which qualifies because 3 walls and a roof, even if it was filled with holes, and it gets 200 at night here. P.S. I stole the dog 3 weeks later. Hey, stealing is wrong at, just kidding. Good dog nipper. Dog dealers of Reddit, what is the strangest thing you have been offered in compensation for dogs? Ex-user of opiates here. My dealer would only give me the dogs if I gave him my blades and allowed him to check me for any cuts. I was in a seriously dark time and he helped me in a lot of ways. Eventually, once I started to get better, he refused to sell me any dogs and also made it clear to his friend dealers that I was bulk listed. One of the reasons I turned my life around. A California city filled its skate park with sand to deter skateboarders. Then the dirt bikes showed up. People think I wear thongs for some weird fetish, but in fact I do it cause they use less fabrics, therefore less CO2 emissions at manufacturers. Fun history facts. One of the 31 people arrested at Stonewall on June 28, 1969 was American folk singer Dave Van Ronk, who was not at the Stonewall Inn at the time, and was C-eyes and straight as far as I'm aware. He'd been eating dinner at a nearby restaurant when he noticed a riot happening, said well I suppose I should go see what the fuss is about, stepped outside, and immediately started throwing bricks at the cops. Okay, funny long story of mine. So this dyslexic kid in my class uses a computer. One of the teachers actually banned him to use it. So him and his friends literally printed over 800 Google searches and the dyslexic kid would ask for a search and his friend searched for like 2 minutes and gave him a paper about it. This is the funniest shit I've seen all year. Time to paint me red again. Result. Thank you. What loophole did you exploit 4 years before someone found out? Used to work at Starbucks like 7 years ago, and they used to print these receipts where, if you filled out a survey it would give you a 6-digit code which you could then exchange for a free drink. However, when you gave in the receipt with the code, we would just toss it in the garbage, and then give the free drink. So over a shift I would just keep all the survey receipts, when people didn't want them, write random numbers on them, then keep a wallet full of free coffee. Since I already got tons of free drinks, I would give them to homeless people and explain it was good for a free coffee. Probably gave away like 100 free drinks. I deleted and reinstalled my Parallel app and it's back up. Thanks for the wrong info. I deleted my app and there isn't a new one, and now mine is gone. Remove this post as its information is wrong. Apply to jobs that are not transparent with their hourly pay and only imply that it's good. Use fake name, lie out of my ace in the application, in order to ensure they call me. Get told their pay during the interview. They always aren't good. Ghost them. Post their hourly wage on Google reviews and put a 1 star if it's particularly shut. Duck you. Be transparent. You stingy clocks. Pick related. So one of my guy friends got sent to conversion therapy. The thing is, the therapist was actually guy and helped my friend be himself. He helped over 50 guy or trans kids be proud of himself. Ducking saint. I'm a CI's man who just downloaded a period tracking app because if there's anything I love, it's causing chaos. To clarify, this will likely do nothing to aid individuals who are subpoenaed themselves. The goal of this is to mess up data, so that any law enforcement agency that purchases a database would have to waste significant resources in cleaning it up before using it. I cannot express how much I love the idea of a bunch of dudes downloading Flow and creating logins and entering complete nonsense for data. Boss pinging me on weekends. My boss keeps pinging me on weekends. I used to follow up immediately but his pings didn't stop. I finally downloaded his CV from LinkedIn and sent it to a ton of recruiters. My boss resigned last week. Just sharing so you know there are ways to kick your boss out. I just finished beating someone up and I hate myself for it, but he kicked my cat. I just had a roommate coming to my house drunk and trying to start a fight with me, and when I didn't reciprocate, he kicked my 6-week-old kitten. I proceeded to beat his ace for 30 minutes. I feel very ashamed, but I love my cat. It was multiple beatings in a 30-minute time frame. India is saving endangered rhinos with one simple trick. Poachers hate them. Kaziranga's ruthless rangers have reduced rhino poaching by simply gunning down poachers at sight. I worked at McDonald's for 2.5 years, and I put 11 nuggets in almost every 10 piece I made. Turkish photographer beats up client after learning bride is 15 years old. If you hate your homeowners association, nothing funnier than installing a 7,000 plus capacity bat roost, causing thousands of bats to come into your neighborhood. That will cause your homeowners association to complain. But they cannot legally do anything because bats are federally protected animals and it cannot be removed. I suppose if people thought about real issues and needs instead of manufactured desires, the economy would collapse and we'd have total anarchy. Why are rabbits so special? Soft. Teacher did one of those word cloud things with a virtual response thing for the question what makes rabbits so special? I submitted the word soft 600 times. My daughter crying because she cheated on her boyfriend and I told him. When I was in 4th grade I was in the gifted program and they let us go to the library more often, which meant we had more chances to take the accelerated reader tests and get points, and whoever reached a certain threshold got to go to Chuck E. Cheese. So I'd go around asking people I knew had a hard time reading what their logins were and sneak in to take tests for them so they could go to Chuck E. Cheese too. I got caught and they didn't let me go to Chuck E. Cheese, but it was worth it, duck you. That's why we all need to lie and cheat. We love your heroics. We are gonna deal with whoever caught you. Chuck E. Cheese official. Become ungovernable. Zoo separates 5 parrots after the birds were caught encouraging each other to swear at guests. The way my girlfriend cut around a pepperoni. I commute by bike every day in a city with no bike lanes. Prank. I drive recklessly, respect no street law, wear no helmet, listen to music, drunk 50% of the time. Car drivers are terrified by me. They know well that if they kill me the fault is going to be on them, and I have nothing really to live for, nothing to lose. I have only one goal. Make the traffic the most nightmarish possible for car drivers, in the hope they will stop driving and take the ducking metro just to avoid meeting me. Hand grenades found in Gurugram house were first spotted by thieves who broke in. Police. 2 hand grenades and other ammunition, which were found inside the toilet of a locked house in Gurugram sector 31, were first found by 2 thieves who broke into the house intending to steal valuables. Police said one of them found the ammunition after going to use the toilet. They were initially scared of informing police, but eventually called them. Current mood. In 1908, Winston Churchill opposed giving women the right to vote. Irish suffragist Mary Maloney followed him around as he campaigned for Parliament and clanged a large bell whenever he tried to speak. Bank robber source picked through stolen money and wished everyone a Merry Christmas, witness said. Someone was under your car last night trying to steal your catalytic converter, but I shot him with my BB gun twice. You're welcome. If I were you, I would get something like the cat's trap or some deterrent, so it doesn't get stolen in the future. I won't always be there to snipe the bad guys. Your friendly neighbor. Brah. Everyone must have a fruit or vegetable. No cap. It's none of our business if you eat it or not, but it must be on your trays. Don't hate the players, hate the game. Alright Jits. Thanks Cup, you're bussin'. Lunch crew. Yup, I told a good bit of the guys at my work, and one of them actually ran after a different creeper co-worker with a hatchet and said to tell him if he ever tried anything else. Ha ha ha, what a king. Right? Kingsman. You know him, right? Oh, of course. He's the one with the hatchet. Of course, of course. At least once a month, I randomly remember that Dr. Phil once invited the creator of the Bum Fights video series on his show to confront him about exploiting vulnerable people for financial gain, only for him to show up dressed up as Dr. Phil and point out he does the same exact thing. 3 cheers for Daniel Alfelder, a Stanford-educated lawyer who is showing up at beaches across America in full Grim Reaper attire to protest that they're opening up prematurely in the middle of a pandemic. Police have arrested a Minnesota man who checked his sick wife out of a nursing home to throw her a death party. Her final hours included moth, listening to metal and having sex, authorities said. Man arrested after he threw his ailing wife a death party before she died. He used Snapchat's gender switch filter to pose as a 16-year-old girl online and take down a police officer allegedly looking to hook up. He tipped off the PD and the officer was arrested. Our exclusive interview with the man and why he did it at 11 on at NBC Bay Area. After Minnie Cox, the first black female postmaster, was pressured out of her post in Mississippi, President Theodore Roosevelt continued to pay her salary and punish the town by rerouting their mail 30 miles away until they gave her back the position. My bike was stolen last week and yesterday I saw it for sale on Craigslist. So I messaged the seller, met him at McDonald's, and when I noticed it was 100% my bike, I dumbly asked to take it for a ride. He said, yeah, just don't ride off. Which is exactly what I did. I stole my bike back. I'm a long-haired native who doesn't steal, so whenever I get followed in a store I keep the employee on my tail for as long as possible to make it a little easier for people who need to steal to get what they need. City of Gainesville dumped loads of mulch on one of the skate parks in town. Someone posted free mulch on Facebook, and it was 100% gone by the rest of the day and blown clean with leaf blowers by citizens. Get work, Gainesville. That's the civil disobedience I'm talking about. The more random people you see jogging for no reason, the higher the rent is going up. I heard a gunshot coming from my neighbor's yard late at night a few weeks after I moved in. I went to check it out. When I approached him, he told me he does it once every month or so, just to keep the property value and taxes at a reasonable level. I'm used to it now. My freshman semester of college, I used to buy weed from a kid who would give discounts for it, like signing pro-environmental petitions and going to protests. Johnny, wherever you are, I hope you're doing well. This man did more for the environment than any politician I've ever seen. A girl's voice in game chat is more powerful than any submarine. Fun story, maybe, when I was younger, my brother was super duper into COD, and he is actually really freaking good at it. So one day, he gave me his mic headset and told me to talk while he was playing, and it was wild. The levels of soul that young men produce when under the impression that a little girl is destroying them in COD is a beautiful thing. Kitten breaks his owner's earphone cable and returns with snake as a replacement. It ain't much, but it's honest work. My son's teacher has banned me from decorating my son's bananas as they were causing too much of a ruckus in class, and honestly, knowing my art caused a class of 6-year-olds to riot is probably one of the best compliments I've ever received. I wish I took more photos before the ban. I have been using Spotify to secretly spy on my friend. One of my closest friends names her Spotify playlists with specific names. One of her playlists is called Sad Lady Hours, and every time I see her actively listening to it, I shoot her a, hopefully, inconspicuous text asking what she is up to, that I love her, etc etc. I hope she never notices the pattern. Sad lady hours. Purest thing I've ever heard. Billy Joe Armstrong is like the definition of chaotic good. A prime example of this is the fact that one time at a Green Day concert this guy in the pit was grassing a young girl, so Billy stopped the show to help her. However, his way of doing so was to jump into the audience, dropkick the guy directly in the face, and then fight him in a crowd of screaming fans. This is missing the best part. When he saw the guy, he tried to be like, dude, stop, and when the man didn't stop pushing the girl around he screamed, fine. You wanna fight? I'll ducking fight you, then. And leapt directly into the crowd. There's a reason Green Day was my favorite band in high school, and Billy Joe Armstrong is it. When Nestlé refused to watch a documentary about the exploitation of African children in the cocoa industry, the documentary's director, Maki Misteri, set up a giant screen next to Nestlé's headquarters in Switzerland and played it there. My foster mother that sent me to conversion therapy wanted to visit me today, and since she doesn't know to work a GPS, she asked me for directions, and now homegirl is on her way to Niagara Falls. If she drowns, free tacos to everyone. Witnesses said a bus driver told an ICE agent to gargle his balls when the latter requested to enter the bus. Breaking. Greyhound says it will stop letting Border Patrol agents conduct routine immigration checks on its buses. My ex-girlfriend had a few too many shots of tequila in a party and passed out in the couch. When I went to check her, I noticed she passed all over the couch. To avoid embarrassments, I filled up a bucket with water and threw it over her to disguise it as a prank. I'm that kind of boyfriend. She still has no idea. Now that's a chaotic good. Chaotic evil. Passing all over her to disguise the fact that she passed herself.